I don't know, like the whole like changing lanes thing makes me just like a little nervous always. And even when I come up to like stoplights and like especially on right turns, if it's red and I turn, I'm always afraid, and I'm always like triple and quadruple checking no cars are coming before I make the turn, and stuff like that really kind of agitates me. And yeah, it's just a lot of like nerves, and yeah, I just try to avoid driving as much as I can, usually catching rides with people and stuff like that.
Okay. So you're very scared of close proximity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you try maybe going into a parking lot, and just like an empty parking lot, nothing's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And just try turning lanes, I guess turning into the parking spots, and see if that will help you.
Okay.
And then so you'll be passing cars, you'll make right turns and make left turns, and then that could also help you. So that's one of the activities that you could do.
Okay. Okay, those sound doable.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. What else? What do you think is your driving force of your phobia?
Just like after looking at all this stuff, I guess like the biggest thing is just like crashing or just like injuring someone else or myself is kind of what it seems like is like my biggest fear about like every time I'm in a car. Yeah, that really, really scares me about it, I think.
Is there a certain time of day that you only drive, or?
I try, if I can, to avoid like heavy traffic times, like around like 5 o'clock when everyone's off of work and stuff. And like if I'm ever going like all the way into the cities, then I definitely plan on making sure I'm not there during traffic time.
Okay.
Because that really stresses me out, and so I usually just wait or try to wake up early and go before traffic hits.
Okay. Well, what we have said could help you, and then maybe as time goes on, we will, have, instead of 1 o'clock, we'll move it to 2 o'clock, that you take a weekly trip to St. Cloud, and then to 3 o'clock, and then to 4 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, because that's when traffic hour hits, right? And then so from then on, from here until for like 7 weeks, each week we're going to help you get closer to reaching your fear of getting rid of your fear or phobia of driving. Okay. So we'll take it step by step, and just let me know if it's too hard. But
Okay.
you know this process is going to be hard because we're trying to overcome a phobia. So,
Okay.
what other thoughts do you have about driving?
I guess I'm a little nervous about some of these activities, especially just kind of like the whole changing lanes thing. I'm usually fine with it if there's not a lot of cars around, but I'm from Bemidji, which is about 3 hours away, and if I get stuck on one of those roads, there's only 2 lanes, and if I'm behind someone going slow, I'm kind of scared to pass them, so sometimes I'll end up going like 50 miles per hour when I should be going like 60, but I'm just kind of too scared to like pass the cars. So that's kind of another problem that I run into when driving.
Okay. So when you're driving, usually what speed are you going?
I usually try and go the speed limit, but usually I go the speed limit or slower than traffic.
So when you see this car in front of you and you want to go 70, the speed limit, and they're going 50, you're scared to pass them because you feel like you might hit them, or?
Yeah, I just get really nervous, especially when the cars are like side by side. I just feel like something's going to happen, or that I'm going to hit them or something like that.
Okay, so I want you to think about the times when you have been in traffic and that you've been driving. And most of the time when you're in traffic, you're next to a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how many times have you been in traffic?
lots of times.
Lots of times, right? And then while you're in traffic, one lane is usually going faster than the other, right? And it's usually, it could be your lane or the other lane, but your lane has probably gone faster than the other lane, right?
Yeah.
And so how many times do you think that has freaked you out? A lot, probably, right?
A lot of times.
But out of all those times, have you ever hit a car? No. No. Okay, so I want you to think about that when a car in front of you is going 50 miles per hour and you want to go 70. Think about, okay, I've never hit a car, and this happens all the time, that I'm driving next to a car and nothing happens, okay? So it's simple. Just think about, there's no one next to me in the lane, right? I'm just going to go into this next lane. And you could still, go 50 miles per hour. But when you feel comfortable, then you could step on that gas pedal lightly and then go a bit faster. And then, that will help you. Just take things step by step and slowly, okay? And I think that will help you very much.
Okay.
Is there anything else with your fear of driving?
Well, sometimes it just kind of gets in the way of things, because I don't always want to drive places, so sometimes I make excuses not to go places just because I don't feel like driving, or I'm just kind of like scared that something's gonna happen. So I usually just try to avoid it if I can, or have someone try and come pick me up, or have someone else drive if at all possible.
Does that usually work for you? Do you usually end up finding someone to give you a drive?
Not always. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but yeah, I usually just try to avoid driving, and so sometimes I just opt to stay where I am and stay home instead of going out with friends or doing something like that, or going to the grocery store to get something I need. I just kind of put it off and say I'll get it later. Okay.
And do you feel like that has a huge impact on what you really want to do?
Yeah, sometimes, it really gets in the way. Like I said before, I have family that lives in the cities, and sometimes one day I woke up and I felt really anxious about driving, and I couldn't drive down to go see them, so I missed, my family event, and, it was really sad to miss out on things just because I couldn't drive somewhere.
So this is really impacting what you want to do, just as, traveling and going long distances. So I want you to think about the long term. So driving, what's a far distance for you?
Probably 2 or 3 hours worth of driving.
2 or 3 hours worth of driving. Okay, and then your home is Bemidji? And that's 3 hours away, right? Okay, so in this upcoming 2 months, do you think you have anything going on in the cities or going on in Bemidji at your home?
Yeah, I'll probably go to the cities at least once for a family.
Okay.
For my birthday.
And do you think you will go home to Bemidji at all?
I might, because I'll have to move some stuff home after school is out.
Okay. So how we're going to take it for these next 2 months, we're going to do, we're going to have you go to St. Cloud on your weekly trips, right?
Okay.
And then throughout those months, we're going to put the time as 1 and then switch it to 2 p.m., 3, and then 4, and then 5 during traffic hour.
Okay.
Okay, and then also throughout these 2 months, we're also gonna, whenever you do have a trip, if you need to go to the Twin Cities or if you need to go to Bemidji, this will really help in, decreasing your fear of driving, going longer distances. Okay, so throughout this whole time, I want you to keep your thoughts saying okay, you know what, I'm getting very nervous, this car is really close to me. But nothing is going to happen. I am in my lanes, I'm in the white, and so I won't pass the car. And if you do get scared, just take a couple of deep breaths and know that everything will be okay. Okay? And then, so these long distances, they will really help you. So maybe take a trip or 2 down to the cities, and then you could take a trip to Bemidji to your home when you go home for the summer. So I think that will be very beneficial also.
Yeah.
Okay? So do you